Hey kids, today we're going to talk about how belief systems control social society and cause conflict. Let's start with the social society. And our first example will be Hinduism. So Hinduism originated in India, and it was a key source of the social classes in India. Hinduism has a caste system. It's a very strict caste system, like Brahmins at the top and untouchables at the bottom and all that. So their caste system is like a result of karma. So if you do bad in life, you'll get dropped down to a lower class. If you do good, you go up. So the only way to move up in a class is by doing good deeds and dying, hoping to be reborn into a higher caste. So everyone wants to move up in the caste and reach the Brahmins, and then they want to achieve moksha. So Hinduism's caste system is very strict, and the higher people never even see the lower people. So that is very segregated. The Brahmins will never eat lunch with the untouchables. It's just their whole social structure is based off Hinduism.
Okay, let's move on to Confucianism. Confucianism was a philosophy by Confucius that was created in China, and many Chinese emperors liked Confucianism because of the philosophy that encouraged bureaucrats to rule society. There is a Confucian saying that the emperor must work for the better of the people, and the people must respect the emperor. And this kept the power in the hands of the emperor and the bureaucrats. Right. We can see a different form of the social life of people in Islam. In Islamic society, men are seen as higher than women. This is seen in many parts of the Quran, because in Islam, men are allowed to have more than one wife at the same time. And most women are also not allowed to own property of their own. The Quran also says that the word of man is worth the same as two women, and many women under Islam were taken as slaves by many men, and even Muhammad himself. After many Islamic expansions, they would take the women as their slaves.
Alright, so here's a counter argument to all of our social structures and stuff by belief systems. So while many religions and belief systems supported the separation or some sort of I'm better than you attitude among their own believers, there were a couple exceptions. So like Buddhism is one, and Buddhism was derived from Hinduism after after an Indian prince who was Hindu saw all the poor people suffering and set out to find a way to fix what he thought was wrong. He thought it was wrong with Hinduism's social classes. So the Buddha, or the prince, created Buddhism with no social classes so that all people could achieve nirvana, which is like the release from their suffering. And the only class that Buddhism had, well, it wasn't really a class, it was more how devoted are you to the faith, the philosophy, the religion. And no one could stop you from achieving nirvana. It was all by yourself. There was no classes. It was just you and your belief system. And Buddhism got rid of all social classes so that like the suffering people from Hinduism, they'd go to Buddhism so they could finally reach nirvana or moksha, which is called in Hinduism. So, yeah.
Go, Philly.
Let's move on to how belief systems can cause conflicts. A really easy example would be of modern-day radical Islamic groups such as Al-Qaeda or ISIS. The radical Muslims follow the old Islamic laws and take the terms of the jihad to the extremes. Jihad is also referred to as the armed struggle against non-believers or the holy war. These radical Muslims commit terror attacks for the jihad in the name of Allah. This version of the radical Islamic groups has caused many conflicts between the radicals and the rest of the world, as well as the radicals and the peaceful Muslims.
The Latin Church in the Byzantine Empire and other places near the Mediterranean also got involved in religious conflicts. The First Crusade in 1095 was asked for by the Pope, who wanted to help Byzantine military stop the expansion of Muslims into the Holy Land. There were many reasons for people to join the Crusades, but if they died in battle, all of their sins would be forgiven, and they would go straight to heaven. The First Crusade took back the Holy City from Islamic rule. This take of Muslim territory led to more and more conflicts between who should have the Holy City, and there were multiple crusades to expand into Muslim territory.
Another place where conflict occurred was in India between the Hindus and the Muslims. The minority Muslims wanted the full control of the majority Hindus, and there were multiple conflicts. The Muslims just put themselves at the top of the caste system and some low class, and some class Hindus converted to Islam to be of other higher status, even though that didn't really work. The struggle for the rule of India led to the creation of Pakistan. Hindus who lived in Pakistan territory would move to India, and Muslims in India would move to Pakistan. Many of the groups killed each other on the way to the new land.
While belief systems can be seen bringing people apart, they are also seen bringing people closer together, and a good example of this is Confucianism in China. Confucianism has come and go, but whenever it is implemented, China prospered. Confucianism focuses on education and order to rule the country by very intelligent people who have a duty from Confucianism to make their lives better and to make the Chinese population prosper. The people of the empire are also bound to Confucianism to do their part by being good subjects and working hard. Everyone is also able to take the civil service exam and be a part of the ruling class or government. The people of China would come together to try and provide for themselves while also helping with the government, which kind of helped in making no corruption in the government and just kept a nice balance between government and regular class people. And Confucianism brought China together by basically using one simple principle: respect for all people in China.